Welcome back. So for tonight's Catch, Clean, and Cook, we are going to be doing a panko encrusted mutton snapper with a homemade romesco sauce. So if you don't know what a homemade romesco sauce is, it is a Spanish sauce that is tomato and pepper based. We are going to roast some red peppers, a chili pepper, and some grape tomatoes. I've already roasted some almonds. I took some raw almonds and roasted those. And we are then going to put it in our Fruit Ninja and turn that into a very yummy sauce. So in order to do that, what we need to do first is roast our peppers and tomatoes until they get a nice char. I'm going to use about that many almonds. There's not too many of us. I don't really do many measurements. But I do have 2 red peppers, 1 medium-sized chili pepper, and I'll do a handful of grape tomatoes. So I'm just going to go ahead and just halve these, cut out the rinds, and we're just going to put them right down on our air fryer here. And we're going to broil these over low heat until they start to get nice and charred. So once we put these in the air fryer and they start to get a good char on them, what we'll then do is we will peel them before we add them into our blender. So for the chili, much like a jalapeno, the more seeds and the more of the white part of the pepper that you leave in, the hotter it's going to get. And since we got some kids eating with us tonight, we don't want it to be too spicy, so we're going to take a little bit of it out. Just like that. So we'll put those down, and then we'll take a handful of our tomatoes here. Just like that, and then we'll throw them in the air fryer. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so while those vegetables are finishing roasting, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna prep our fish. Because mutton snapper is such a delicious fish, we're gonna keep it pretty simple and just go with a plain seasoned salt on the fish. Get that on both sides. All right, next, we're just gonna do a simple flour, egg wash, and panko breadcrumbs. And we are going to do that on the skin side of the fish. That's going to be my presentation side. So I'm going to take a nice chunk of fish. It's going to be my skin side down. Do a little flour. And we're only going to do this on one side of the fish. Next, a little egg wash. And then right into the panko. And then we'll just let that adhere for just a minute. And we're going to do that on all these pieces of fish here. All right, so unfortunately at this point in the video, my audio went out and I didn't realize it. So I'll just do a little voiceover until the audio comes back later in the video. At this point, I'm pulling out the roasted red peppers, the chili peppers, and the tomatoes. You see how they got a nice char to them? That's what we're looking for. Be very careful. This is coming out of a really hot oven. So for the tomatoes, I do not skin those. I'll just scoop those and go ahead and throw them right into the blender. All right, after you get your tomatoes in, next step is to skin all your peppers. So If you cook these right, the skin should just peel right off of them pretty easily, but do be careful. They're probably going to be pretty hot just coming out of a hot oven. As you can see, these things are still smoking. So that's the desired consistency you're looking for. You want it to be, you know, soft, a little flimsy, and we'll just add those right into our blender. Once you get all those skinned, you're going to take your chili pepper. The chili peppers cook a little bit faster, and I didn't really keep a good eye on it, so I'm just kind of scraping it off the skin with a spoon. Maybe if you're doing it at home, maybe pull the peppers just a little bit sooner. Next, you're going to add 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You're going to add 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, and then salt to taste. All right, next step is we're gonna go ahead and put this in the blender until we reach our desired consistency. We don't want it to be too thick where it's like a paste, but we don't want it to be too thin where it's like a soup. So start with just a little bit of olive oil. You can always add more and continue to go back and blend it. But you just want to get it to a good consistency that you like, and then give it a little taste. Perfect. Next, we're going to take it outside. We're going to fire up the Blackstone. If you have a cast iron skillet, you can do this in your house. But since we had a bunch of fish, I figured it would just be a little easier to take it outside. Behind me, I've got my Traeger preheating to 350 degrees. And I just put a little bit of avocado oil down on the Blackstone. So I've got this on high heat. So this is probably around 400 degrees. And we're just going to cook this fish for a few minutes aside just until it gets a nice golden brown on the panko. So after about two minutes or so, you want to check it, and we'll give it a flip. You should have a nice golden brown crust on that panko side, which is what we're looking for. Once you flip it, we'll give it another 2-3 minutes for the fish to cook on the other side. We don't want to overcook this fish on the Blackstone because we are going to throw it on the Traeger to finish off and come to the desired temperature that we want. As you can see here, looking pretty good. So some of these pieces of fish are a little bit thicker than the others. So on some of these, we're going to go ahead and sear all 4 sides of any of the raw fish that's exposed, just to help this cook a little bit faster and a little bit more evenly in the oven. So once the fish is done on the Blackstone, we're going to go ahead and pull it. I just put it on a regular cookie sheet and threw it on the Traeger. You can also put this in your oven, but I like cooking outside, so we fired up the Traeger. And the Traeger gives it like a little bit of a woody flavor at the end, which was really nice. So fish is considered cooked at 145 degrees internal temperature. So here I was just probing the fish, seeing where we were at. I pulled it at about 140 internal so that these fish don't overcook, because it's going to continue to cook as we bring it inside while we plate. Here's the moment we've been waiting for. Let's plate this fish. We're going to start by putting a little bit of sauce down rather than putting it on top of the fish, because we want to keep that nice crust that we just built. So we'll spread a little bit of this romesco down on the bottom, and then we will top that with our piece of fish. So I had made some sides, but the kids were starving. It was late in the day, but here's the finished product and the review from the kids. All right, boys, give it a try.
That's really good. Wow, I'm done. I don't like the sauce. So good.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
It's very flaky.
So here, I got more plates and more fish.
So good.
All right, sit. That sounds so good.
So good. 5-star review. I'm tasting this fish.
This is amazing.
I'm tasting fish. Listen, I'm still in the boat, but right in.
Because I was at my friend's house.
Oh, that was good. Thank you, Daddy.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. This recipe was awesome. Would highly recommend it. If you liked it, if you guys stuck around this long, make sure you guys click that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.